If you're thinking about moving to Austin in 2025, here are 10 things you need to know before you move. My name is Connor Olson. This is the Living in North Austin YouTube channel. In addition to this channel, I'm also a local real estate agent. If you have any interest in relocating to the Austin area, feel free to reach out. I would love the opportunity to earn your business. There's a lot to know when you relocate to a new city. What's the weather like? What are the people like? What are the good schools? What's the good areas? What's the bad areas? What do people do for fun? There's a lot that goes into it, and today I'm going to be talking about the 10 things that I think you should know before you relocate to Austin, Texas. The first thing you need to know is that Austin is the most expensive metro in Texas. So I hear a lot of people that are thinking about relocating to Austin, and they've heard that you could buy homes in Texas for $100,000. That is not the case in Austin. In Austin, especially this is within the city limits of Austin, if you're going to buy a vacant lot to build a house on, it's probably going to cost you $150,000 to $200,000. In other areas of Texas, you could buy a 1,500 square foot home for $150,000. I see tons of videos online of these really nice homes for extremely cheap, but they are in less expensive parts of Texas. So when you're comparing homes throughout Texas, you need to know that Austin is the most expensive, even compared to Dallas or San Antonio or Houston. It is still a different price point than those areas. So that's the first thing you really need to know. Number 2, Austin is better than Dallas. This is a very personal opinion, but I think Austin is a lot better than Dallas. I've only been to Dallas maybe 3 or 4 times now, but the feeling I get walking around Dallas is very different than walking around Austin. In Austin, it feels like a lot of the people are new to the city. They are starting out in their careers. They're looking to build a community. And in Dallas, it feels like people are more settled. They've been there longer. It's kind of an older generation, if you will, whereas Austin is very young. So that's definitely one thing I've really noticed. Another thing I've noticed just going through the different downtowns is the Austin downtown is significantly newer than the Dallas downtown. So they just have totally different feelings. Most of the downtown skyscrapers in Austin are built within the last 15 years, whereas Dallas, some of them date back to the 70s and 80s. So just things like that really shape how you feel when you're exploring these different cities. Number 3, I also believe that Austin is better than Houston. Now, I've been to Houston 3 times at this point, and it's very different than Austin. Houston is really this expansive city. From when you enter the metro to getting to downtown, I think it took me an hour and a half. And I was driving in on a random Friday morning, and I was stuck in bumper to bumper traffic. So I don't have the best perception of Houston. It is very, very large. That's the biggest takeaway I took from it. And also that traffic is never ending there. Those are kind of my 2 big things. But I recently did take a trip there. We did a lot of kids activities. It was great. I had a really good time. But again, there's a big difference in the lifestyle of Austin versus Houston. I've noticed walking around downtown Austin, it's a more young and fitness and health lifestyle than you would find in Houston. So that's just one of the differences that I've noticed. Also, the type of employers and employees that are in Austin and Houston are very different. Houston is extremely oil focused, with a lot of people working in that industry, and Austin is more tech focused. So they're just different kinds of people that end up in each one of those cities. Number 4 is the Austin vibes. So I really think that Austin has this really unique culture. The slogan of Austin is "Keep Austin Weird," and it was kind of this hippie town for a really long time, really until the 80s and 90s. And then since then, there's been a big tech wave that has come in, and a lot of people relocating to Austin. There's a lot of people that are moving here for jobs. There's a booming economy. So it really has shaped the culture in Austin. It's a very laid back culture. I've really enjoyed, the people that I've met here. One thing that I really like is the people in Austin are majority of the time transplants. So very rarely will you meet someone that was born here and grew up here. So it's very different than Dallas, perhaps, where people were born and raised in Dallas and been there their whole lives. In Austin, it seems like everyone has just recently moved here. For example, I've lived here for 5 years at this point, and when I share that, I'm usually the person that's lived in Austin the longest, which is kind of crazy because 5 years isn't that long of a time frame, but a lot of people have relocated in the last 5 years. So because of that, there's a big social push in Austin to go out and meet friends and create your own community that you might not find in other places where they're born and raised, they have high school friends, they have college friends, they're more settled in their groups. Here, people are still actively trying to create their own groups. So I really enjoy that vibe that is throughout Austin. Number 5 is fun events. So our 3 biggest events of the year is South by Southwest in March, ACL in October, and Formula One in October. And between those 3 things, we get hundreds of thousands of people. I'd say 500,000 people between those 3 events coming to Austin. In addition to those, we have regular, conventions and corporate events and, things along those lines. And I've really noticed that those have been increasing recently. Outside of Las Vegas, which is actually where I grew up, Vegas, has a million hotel rooms. They have different shows and stuff. So that's going to be like the main place where people host conventions. But Austin has a lot going for it. It's in the center of the country. So it's about a 4-hour flight to get anywhere in the US. It's a young city with a lot of bars, a lot of good eating, a lot of activities to do. And it's not too cold. I think that's the biggest draw to Vegas is in the wintertime when most people are, getting snow. Vegas is 70 degrees. Texas is also 70 degrees. So I think for those 3 reasons, we're seeing this uptick in conventions being held in Austin. Number 6 thing you need to know about moving to Austin is our property taxes. So in Texas, we do not have income tax. We have, to make up for that, we have higher sales tax and we have higher property taxes. So in Austin in general, the average throughout the whole metro is around 2%, let's say. So if you have a $500,000 house, you're going to be paying $10,000 per year in property taxes. Now this will surprise you because if you are looking to buy a home in a different state versus Texas, you could buy a home at a much higher price in that state because their property taxes are lower and they're not factored into your monthly payment. So just know that that is also a big driving force of affordability in the area. So that's definitely something that shocks a lot of people before they get here, is that we have really, really high property taxes. So it's definitely something you need to know before you're looking to move here and purchase a home. Number 7 is going to be the age of homes within the city limits of Austin. Austin really boomed in the 60s, 70s, and 80s. And that's where the majority of homes are going to be built in the city of Austin. And I'm talking specifically at the median priced home. So let's say like $400,000 to $500,000 is going to be between the 60s and 80s. There's not many homes that were built before the 60s, and there's not a ton of homes that are built, after the 80s. So if you're looking at that median price point, that's where you're going to find most of the homes. Obviously, if you increase the price point, you can find some brand new homes. If you go a little further out from town, you can also find some brand new homes. On the southeast side, there's still some new homes being built, but the vast majority of homes are going to fall within that that age range. If you're looking for a new home specifically, the suburbs are going to be the better option. There are going to be homes that are, 10 minutes from the city of Austin that are brand new. So just depends on price point, budget, where you want to live, but there's definitely new construction. Number 8 is grants for home purchases. I have a lender that I've worked with multiple times that their bank offers grants to purchase homes. So if you are looking to own or occupy a home and you happen to buy a home that's in one of these designated areas, they offer grants up to $17,000. I have personally done, I think, 6 transactions with them at this point. So I've done it a ton. It's totally normal. It's kosher. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out. But there are specific pockets within the city that you can have these grants if you qualify and if the house qualifies. Number 9 thing you need to know about moving to Austin is the community amenities. So it's pretty hot here. We don't have a ton of backyard pools in Austin. Compare that to Las Vegas, where I grew up. It seemed like over half of the houses had a pool. In Austin, it's about 10% of the homes have pools. So you need to know what your community amenities that you're looking for are. So is a pool important to you? Do you like walking trails? Do you want to be walking distance to shops and coffee shops and things along those lines? That is very important to know when you're moving to the area of what's important to you. How far are you away? If you like, water sports, if you like going into the local creeks, going into the local lakes, how far away are you from those things? So that is definitely something to know about when you're moving to Austin. Number 10 is foundation settling. So foundation settling is very common here in Texas. We have a layer of topsoil, and then under that we have a layer of clay. And clay is this material that expands and contracts a lot with different temperatures and different saturations of water. So it is extremely common to walk into a house and see some drywall cracks. It does not mean the house is falling apart. It just means that the dirt under the house has shifted a little bit and that the drywall itself is very brittle and it doesn't move. It's not very fluid. So if it shifts, it's gonna have a little bit of a crack. So don't be alarmed if you're touring homes and you see cracks here and cracks there. It's important to know that settling is normal. Every house settles, and to get a foundation inspection when you put a house under contract, just to make sure that the foundation is performing up to the standards. That's it for this video. We talked about the top 10 things to know when you move to Austin. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out. My contact info is right there. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.